The night Montgomery fell silent under a warm September haze, a single email was being opened inside a cramped home office on Perry Street. The man who opened it, a former junior analyst now working remotely after leaving New York, froze as he scrolled. Because on the screen was the same billion-dollar movement he had flagged 2 years earlier. The same pattern he was told to reclassify. The same signal that could have changed everything. What he didn't know then, what no one realized until it was far too late, was that this wasn't an anomaly. It was the first visible crack in the foundation of Lehman Brothers, a crack that should have triggered alarms across Wall Street, a warning so loud it could have rewritten financial history. If only someone had listened. If you like real and intense stories like this, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and leave your like to help the channel reach 1,000 subscribers. Montgomery that night carried its usual southern calm. Cicadas humming in the trees, distant highway noise blending with the soft buzz of porch lights. Inside his house, Daniel Carter sat in silence, the glow of his computer screen reflecting off his glasses. He whispered to himself, "Why? Why does this look exactly like 2007? And then, another email notification appeared. Another pattern. Another billion. Another warning. The screen flickered, and the story truly began. Montgomery in daytime had a rhythm no financial district could replicate. Slow mornings, the smell of brewed coffee drifting from small diners, the sun rising over the Alabama River. Daniel walked along Dexter Avenue, headphones in, replaying old voicemail messages from his time at Lehman. The culture shock was still real. In New York, everything had been urgency and fluorescent lights. Here, people talked to strangers in grocery lines. But the numbers didn't care where he lived. They followed him. The signal resurfaced in public filings from multiple regional banks. It matched the old Lehman pattern almost exactly. A rapid, unexplained billion-dollar repositioning moved across balance sheets right before quarterly reporting. Daniel met with his friend Marcus, a local CPA, inside a quiet barbecue place smelling of hickory smoke. "Marcus, look at this graph," Daniel said, sliding his laptop forward. Marcus squinted. "Man, this isn't normal rotation, that's shaping." "Exactly," Daniel said. "Shaping to hide exposure." Marcus leaned back, wiping sauce from his hands. "So you're telling me the same trick Lehman used, the one they said no one could have seen, is happening again?" Daniel nodded, heartbeat tightening. The narrator's voice should slow here. Heavier, as the weight of truth starts taking shape. Later that evening, thunderstorms rolled in, the kind Alabama knows well, lightning revealing the empty streets in sharp flashes. Daniel sat by his window, watching rain slam against the glass as he opened yet another document. There it was again. The same billion-dollar pattern. Daniel's breathing grew shallow as he opened the anonymous attachment. Inside were scanned internal pages from 2007. Pages he had once printed himself. He recognized a handwritten note in the margin. "Flag this immediately. Do not ignore." He remembered the meeting vividly. The fluorescent conference room. Senior executives refusing to acknowledge the risk. A partner tapping the table saying, "If we highlight this, we're acknowledging the exposure. If we acknowledge the exposure, we trigger panic. And panic destroys us." The narrator's tone must shift to urgent here, darker, faster. In Montgomery, Daniel now realized the truth. Lehman's fall wasn't a sudden failure. It was the result of ignored warnings, documented and dismissed. Storm clouds churned overhead as he connected the dots. The billion-dollar movement wasn't an accident. It was a recurring tool, a way to artificially stabilize quarterly reports. The signal was the smoke. The collapse was the fire. His hands trembled over the keyboard as he compared modern filings with the old Lehman documents. The match was perfect. Lighting cracked outside. Daniel flinched. Someone had sent him these files. Someone who knew he was one of the few who would recognize them. A new message came in. "You were right in 2007. They won't ignore it this time." His stomach dropped. The next morning, Montgomery was washed clean by rain, sunlight breaking through the humidity. Daniel walked across the quiet lawn of a small community park, needing air, needing clarity. He understood now. The collapse of Lehman wasn't uniquely catastrophic because of bad assets. It became catastrophic because everyone ignored the same billion-dollar warning, and it was happening again. He contacted a journalist, someone reputable, someone fearless, and handed over everything. Not sensationalized theories, not speculation, but documents, records, patterns, evidence of deliberate concealment and suppression of internal alerts. When the story broke weeks later, financial institutions scrambled. Investigations opened. Whistleblowers emerged. Daniel watched the news from his Montgomery living room, the same room where the story had resurfaced. As the anchor said, "And analysts now believe this billion-dollar rotation was the earliest visible red flag before the Lehman collapse." For a long moment, Daniel didn't move. Not triumph, not relief. Just the weight of truth finally acknowledged. He stepped outside, breathing in the warm Alabama air, cicadas buzzing, the sun dipping behind rooftops. A crisis doesn't begin when numbers fail. It begins when warnings go unheard. And this time at least, someone finally listened. If this story moved you, subscribe to the channel and leave your like. It helps us more than you imagine.